Hi, hello. This is Prabhakar from Box Heroes. So, as promised, I would like to discuss about the blue-green strategy of deployment, like I had promised I would do. And it has been a very interesting journey so far doing these videos. So, coming to me, I'm a software engineer. Having more than 10 years of experience in the software industry. I have experience in both backend and front end, pretty much a full stack developer. And I have experienced exposure to, multiple technologies in Java, Node, Python, uh, React. So pretty much various kind of technologies and infrastructure, large infrastructure projects, uh, some medium scale, small, more humble ones, and also different companies as well in sizes as well. So I also worked in startups, and all these experience has added to a lot of good experience. A good way of looking at things, being able to see things more in perspective of what uh, how it works out better. So enough about me. So this is a continuation from my last video uh, that I have planned to cover for different deployment styles. So this is one of the first ones that I'm taking up after my introduction to deployment strategies. You can check my last video to get a idea of what it was, but maybe I will just do a quick recap. So we had discussed about sorry, so different deployment strategies, why we need them, and we discussed about the different deployment styles. So there are more than blue, green, rolling, or canary, but we actually discussed quickly, went through these styles. Okay, and so coming to the blue, green strategy of deployment. So when do we need them? So basically, it is very effective way of deployment if you want to care for a low downtime, low chance of failure, and easily reversible. Okay, so you would also wonder if your version is a major release. So if that is a consideration, then yes, the blue green would work out pretty well. Okay, and also one things to consider is that you should be able to bear the extra cost of second environment, which is very much like an identical one. Then this would work out well. The blue green strategy of deployment is good for us. And of course, this has been quite proven, okay, in the field of software deployment. So it has been practiced by Amazon uh, for a decade or so. So this is not me saying it. This is like Martin Fowler pointed out this that blue green strategy is quite effective, and he's a bit surprised that blue green strategy is not that much used as it should have been used. He wants to see that blue green strategy could have been more prevalent, and he's surprised that people are not using it. So yeah, this is a very important style of deployment that one needs to consider. So what are the quickly want to cover like how it works. So you need two identical environments. Okay, one would be holding the current environment that is taking the traffic, which is old environment, and you want to have another identical environment that would hold a new version of your software. And so one of the environments that is the current one, that is you're taking the live traffic, so we can call it blue. Okay, and the second environment that we would actually put in the new version, we can call it green. Okay, so the idea is now, as we set up the parallel environment in the green, and we have the environment and we put the version there, we deploy it there, and we can do some good amount of testing on that one. So once we can confirm the readiness of that environment that is green, then we can move the traffic from blue to green. Okay, that's what happens, that is the plan. And then we monitor green for any issues. Okay, so now green is taking the live traffic. uh, so now we want to make sure that nothing goes wrong. So if anything goes wrong, there are any red flags, you have some warning logs, something is going down. If you see that some thresholds are broken, alerts come in, and you can then shift back to your safety, that is your current blue, that is having the old version, right? You can go back there. So in that way you can, limit the issues. So limit your, so you have a safe place to go back to. Okay, so that's what. Then you can so then you can fix the green environment for the issues that you, for whatever you deciphered or found the root cause and you fixed it, and then you can try again. So you can try again to shift the traffic to green. So once you are satisfied with the green environment, so you can, now the green environment becomes your new blue, and your current blue environment, which you had moved from having the old version, becomes the new green. So this would go on in the future as well. Like you would then use the green environment to deploy, put in the next version. Okay, and then you would again shift blue to your green, making it the new blue, and this blue becoming the new green. So the cycle continues as you keep on doing the deployments, and all the while you will have a environment to go back to if anything goes wrong. To you go back to your blue, whichever is there at that time, right? So it's a much more safer way of going with your deployments. mm, okay, so we can so this is what it shows. So you have your blue green environment. So they might be talking to some shared resources, shared services and databases. Okay, it's not uncommon, so you might be using them. And so this would be the route, how the router would, so you would of course need a load balancer router to route the traffic between the blue and green. Okay, this is the, so of course initially the blue will be live, as you can see your version 1 say, and you would be putting your release in this version. Okay, so you deploy it here, you test it, right, and then you make the green live here. Okay, but the v1 is still running, so you can still go back if there is any issues. Okay, so this is for your on-prem scenario. So but there might be a scenario, so now you can of course use the cloud, right? So it is much more easier to set up environments, and you don't need to have on-prem hardware and software, these environments to manage with. So if you want to do the cloud way, it is also easy to set up environments, replicate them, right? Replication of environments, you can create such similar environments, okay, using Terraform, etc., right? And so that is not the scope of our discussion, but yes, so you can, in the cloud you can make, so, and you can also destroy this environment, so you can cut your cost, right, if needed. So it would happen something like this in cloud. So you would have your application in the cloud with some shared resources, okay, and So you would be doing a deployment of green while your blue environment is taking the traffic. Okay, you will have a CI/CD pipeline doing helping with this one. And your so once your green environment is ready after testing, so you can direct your traffic through it. Okay, so now your green is live. Okay, and once you are satisfied, right, once you're satisfied, you don't need the blue anymore, you're very sure that this is stable, green is stable, then you can destroy that environment and you can have only green as live. So this becomes more achievable, blue green strategy becomes even more achievable to lot more organizations out there, mm, rather than the on-prem choice. So in the cloud it is much more easier to follow the blue green style of deployment. Okay, so basic requirements for the blue green is the automation. So you need a continuous delivery pipeline. Okay, so this is very effective in managing your deployment and testing, etc., provisioning for resources. So it is a very effective way of doing it. So it's required that you have a continuous delivery pipeline. Okay, and testing is definitely a very big advantage of blue green, and you need to take full advantage of the testing support, because you will have the green to yourself and you have good time to test it out. Okay, so that would actually work in your favor strongly to have a stable outcome. And isolation, right? So you need to be able to have two separate environments without talking to each other. They should have no impact on each other separately. Okay, so that is important. Okay, because each of your versions will be different, you don't want them to mess with each other. Yeah. So what are the downsides? Okay, so now since you when you move suddenly from move from blue to green, what happens here is that your it's like a cold start, it might become a cold start, right? So basically what that means is that your new version might not be ready to take the whole load of traffic, very because you might have some caching mechanism that was in place and that organically or some cache entries got built, and your that blue environment was warm and ready to serve all the traffic better, right? mm, so but that is not may not be ready in your green. So here you need to take care that your cache warm ups etc is prepared, and you also do some quite good number of stress tests. Okay, so that you have your green ready to take the traffic similarly as blue was doing. And of course it costs more, so maybe with cloud that costs significance has reduced, but still it would cost more to manage two environments. Okay, and time and effort to set up two identical environments, yes, this is true. So it would require effort to set up another environment that is identical to green and blue, sorry, to blue when you set up the green, right, to be similar. So having that ready is an effort, of course. And the complexity also comes in the databases, the migration. So you have data that was used in the green, sorry, in the blue, and that needs to be in the green as well, like with the schema change. So it's a major release, say, right? So there might be database schema change or some new data tables or new data migration needs to happen, right? So how are you going to manage this between these two environments? So especially if you have two different databases and you are not managing them, as there is no shared database between these two environments. So how are you going to do that? So all this concerns come into play. So you have to be able to have a backward compatibility schema maybe. So and then when you move completely shift the traffic to green and it's stable, you slowly take away the old schema designs, whatever was there. Okay, so that's one of the ways. and the user transactions during movement, right? So when you're transferring the traffic from blue to green, so some user transactions might be broken, they may not be completed. So you need to be, careful while you're shifting. So you need to be sure that your transactions are getting completed gracefully. You will try, or maybe it's some small fraction of your transactions might get impacted, and you might say, okay, fine, I will let them retry the transaction if it is not too critical, and you are that much error rate or failure rate is like acceptable, right? So that would be fine. And what also may and this is one way the transactions might fail. And yeah, there's might be one more point. Mm, okay, so that was one. And and the shared services impact. So you have shared services across the two environments, right? So these shared services might actually leak some information between your blue and green. Okay, so which you don't want to break your environment. Yeah, so some information that might be in blue, it might leak to green also. Okay, in the transaction, so that might break your behavior of the green environment. So this is something that needs to be, that might be a concern as well. Okay, so so yes, so these are the concerns that one needs to take care of. So the downsides of blue and green. So I think some of them, like the cost, time, and effort, right, and even the cold starts, right. I think these are quite manageable, I would say, this first three. But the last three here, the database schema and data migration, user transaction during movement, and shared services impact, right? So these things are a bit like more case to case basis. It's scenario based. So you will have to be aware of how your software works underneath it, and how you want. So you should have a plan around this much ahead of time. Yeah. So that's all for from blue green strategy of deployment. Okay. So as promised, we'll discuss more of other styles. So I will move on to rolling and then canary, and also discuss other styles out there. Okay. So and then I would do a comparison between above styles. Okay, and also have some closing comments. Maybe I would also share some of my personal experiences on deployment, how I have seen things happen. It would be quite interesting to discuss that as well. So yeah, that's all from me today, and I hope you liked it and it was helpful to you. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe. And if you don't like something, please do let me know. I would very well be happy to have clear them out, mm, and maybe take care of them in the next video, or have another video created to uh, add more details, right? Some discussion points which are critical, I can take them up later. But all the while, thank you for watching this, and yeah, thank you. Until next time, bye.